fuck, man?
Don't cuss on the stream.
Oh, we're live? Hey. I dropped a washer. Isn't that funny?
It's just gonna keep repeating, hold on.
No, that song can end now. Thank you. Where the heck did it go? It's gone. It just rolled away. I'm glad we're doing this before Roller Pinball gets here and it's like, it's with the drill bit, lol.
Hello, everybody. Wait, which camera am I looking at? Oh, hello. I'm at the studio with Kyle over here. He dropped some stuff. We're a little bit late because I was modding Baywatch and I dropped a googly eye in the playfield with the glass not on, and so we had to track that down. Overall, very eventful morning here in Marco Paradise.
Yeah. Emoto and I got coffee this morning. It was great.
Thanks for joining us. I got my loose flip shirt on. Have you guys seen the loose flip? Andy does all the designs himself, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Next time I go to Germany, he's going to tattoo me. Because he's a great tattoo artist, too. Oh, here it is! Nice. Okay.
Yay, let's start.
Sweet. Doesn't everyone like when you just like absolutely give up and then everything starts to work?
Gosh, you're so tall.
I know. Hello, Internet.
I need a Marco stool. Oh, now you're short again.
I wonder what my hair looks like. I just washed my hair yesterday and then I didn't do anything to it. So actually, you know what? I don't care what it looks like.
You look like a bona fide pinball technician.
I look like a freak, like I just got electrocuted or something.
You look really pale because of my color.
I probably look really pale because I am really pale. I don't go outside. Hello, everybody. How's it going? We've got a lot of things to do on this here Baywatch. Daniel, hello. Andrew Barney, hello. I can't see now that I don't have my glasses on. All sorts of people.
Hello, everybody. A magnet sweeper.
Mike Martin, hello.
Don't drop the soap.
I dropped the soap. And a magnet sweeper would pick up a bunch of gross stuff in this room. Hello. Hello.
And Jimmy's Pinball.
Hello. And hello, Dylan. Hello, everybody.
Nintendo Ramy. Hello.
We're going to just get into this. I want to get some stuff done. I worked on Baywatch a little bit yesterday, and I solved a couple little things, and I found some things that I left for us to do today. And we'll go over them, but let's try to figure out the ball trough thing first. That's going to be the simplest bit. We have two ways that we can try to fix our ball trough opto. There is the $2 way, the $2 and 5 minute way, which is going to be installing some new visible light LEDs with the assumption that the normal thing that goes wrong with these trough opto dealios is the LEDs burn out. That is one method. The other method is to replace the entire board set with a new set. That is a $20 way, and it is like a 2-minute fix as opposed to the 5 to 10 minute fix. So we'll see what we can get. Let's start with the cheap way first, and then if so, I can put these boards back into stock. They're pretty simple. Not much goes on. Generally, the transmitter board is the one that goes out first. Can you scroll down on the chat? Why does it say paused? Oh, there it goes. Okay, cool, thanks, sorry.
You don't need to be looking at that.
The transmitter is the simpler board. The transmitter takes 5 volts. There is a resistor that reduces, and then it goes straight into the LED and out. The transmitter, or the receiver board, is a little bit more complicated. There is a phenomena where with these transistors and whatever's going on with this board, when this LED shines onto this LED, it can measure a high or a low signal, and that is how it tells where the ball is. Williams did this with a a photo transmitter, I'm sorry, a infrared LED, and then a photo receiver, where Data East Sega did it with visible light LEDs. Generally, the issue you'll have with these are crummy connectors, cracked solder for the headers, or the LEDs actually being cracked. This is a later game, or actually this is a really early game that used this setup. Sorry, backwards. But these LEDs are actually kind of glued into the board a little bit. You can see that like blob of crap. That's some sort of a stabilizer glue. That tells me that these are probably the original board set and they haven't been worked on. I don't think I've ever seen any of these with glue, or they just decided to stop doing that and then tell people to fix them when they break. I don't see any cracked, actually that's wrong. I totally see some cracked solder on the receiver here. And I should have checked that, but I think it's one of those things, since we have them out, let's just replace the LEDs because it's not hard. There's absolutely a fantastical amount of cracked solder on that header there. Oh yeah, we can totally see.
No, we want to see.
The transmitter was bright. I couldn't see the I could see the transmitter lighting up, but not the receiver. This one is a bit cracked, but this one's a lot better.
See if you can do it through that.
Yeah, we probably can. We've done it before.
Yeah.
Look how cool that is.
Where is it cracked?
I'm trying to get my head around where my hands need to go. Can you bring the contrast up a little bit?
Yeah, back it up a little bit. There you
go. It looks better at my eye. If I bring this out like this, does that help at all?
Yeah. I
don't know if any of y'all can see that, but it is guaranteed effed up. So we are going to fix that. I'm going to grab, actually I have some little cuts of solder here. I'm going to get my bench solder sucker is, oh, I guess I can use this one. Let's see if it works. Oh wait, this one won't caulk anymore. I think it's dirty. Oh, never mind, I got it. It had a blockage. Pretty simple procedure. Let's hit the header pins first, and then we will remove the LED and reinstall the LED. Oops, it's not my normal solder sucker, which I'm used to caulking with the palm of my hand.
Yeah,
this is a, hey now. Reflow this solder. That could be the fix, but it's kind of irresponsible to not swap the LEDs since we have all the supplies right here. It makes no sense. We better do that. It will just ensure longevity. I'm almost certain that this will fix the problem. The reason that these things crack is because they are mounted to the trough. And the trough in that area, that lower bit of the playfield, just sees an immense amount of vibration. Every time the ball's launched, the up kicker, which this is basically on top of, is jiggling and wiggling and sending a bunch of vibrations through these boards, and it just, over however old this game is, quite old, it will break that little brittle connection. These LED leads are kind of folded over on the board. I'll show y'all once I suck the solder up, but that's kind of annoying. It's a little harder to remove components when you fold the legs of the component over the board. I've talked about this, how I try to recommend people not to do that. Can you see those legs bent over?
Yeah.
It makes it really easy to install, but it can be a little difficult to remove. I was talking with a friend of the show. We have the Mr. Bat Outta Hell by Meatloaf. We were talking about Baywatch. He just sold his Baywatch. And one of the biggest problems he had with his was he went to go put new capacitors on the soundboard, and he ruined it. He's pretty sure that he lifted a trace on the soundboard by ripping a capacitor out of the board that had its leads folded over. And that's real common. You have to be really careful. In fact, I'm going to cut the nubs of what's left on these leads off before I try to remove it. This board's super simple, so if I did damage it, it's not a big of a deal. But so an LED, as the name implies when you spell it out, is a light-emitting diode. There is a polarity. You need to install these correctly. The LEDs, this package of LED is, you see on the board in the trace there, how it's got a flat side to it? Mm-hmm. The actual LED also has a bit of a flat side to it. I don't know if you can see it because it's clear. I think it's towards the bottom of the screen, the flat side. The other thing too is there is a long and a short lead. One is the anode, one is the cathode. I do not remember, but I will try to match it up with the flat side of the LED, which I'm going to quadruple confirm, and then I am not going to fold the leads over, because if I ever need to uninstall this, I don't want to go through the hassle. So generally what I'll do, especially to avoid, it's like, okay, Kyle, well, how do you do that without, it's so much easier to install, they move. You still don't need to do it. Get one end of that lead, tack it in with a little bit of solder, ensure that it doesn't fall out. I did not tack it well enough.
Nintendo Ramy said longer is a positive. And also,
okay. I forget which side that is though, if it's the anode or the cathode though.
Cocks his leads at 95-degree angle.
95?
I mean, sorry, 45.
I mean, you could still do that. It's a pain to uninstall them when they're that way. What we're trying to do is trying to get the LED to be flush, right? That's the most important. Oops. The most important thing is to get it flush and true, because these LEDs need to see each other. The LEDs have a very, very narrow output. I think I was looking at the spec sheet on this LED. It's like 8 degrees. So these need to be pointing at each other within about 8 degrees, 4 or 5 inches apart. The margin is very small. So what we can do, now that we have one side kind of tacked in, I'll put my finger on the LED, make sure I'm pushing flat and straight. I will heat that joint up, and that ensures that it is going to sit against the board flat, flush, and straight, without needing to bend any leads or anything like that. Because the orientation and the straightness of this component is critical. That looks okay. Let's cut these leads off now, and the transmitter is good to go. We'll get ready to test that guy. I've already reflowed the solder here, so we are going to unsolder the LED on the receiver board. Another thing to check out, and is worth doing while the board is out, there's also a chance that some of the surface mount components have cracked as well. It's lesser of a chance, but let's just take a look. Everything looks good. One thing you can do to really make sure that they are attached is the poke test. Get a little screwdriver and just kind of poke at these surface mount components and see if they move or do anything weird. They're not, so that's good. That one's folded over really bad. That's evil. Again, this is a single-sided circuit board, so if I did yank a fillet out or do anything like that, it's really not that big of a deal. The traces are very fine on this board, but it's not the end of the world. But we don't want to create more work for ourselves. We never want to do that. People who fix pinball machines, we already have enough work. Or owning a pinball machine is just a ton of work to begin with, but it's fun and gratifying. Okay, one side of this is definitely out, but the side that's folded over is not. So I'm going to try to heat that and wiggle the LED, and there it goes. I didn't even yank a fillet. Good work. All right. See if I can find the flat end here.
Daniel said, I had recently also a problem on the left flipper opto switch. After 10 to 15 minutes playing it, the left flipper response was slow and gone totally. I had another on reserve and now it's fine again.
I'm assuming he's talking about his flipper optos on maybe one of his Williams games.
Yep, on a fishtail.
Fishtails, yeah. Yeah.
And then Kevin Moore said, depends on if they use lead-free solder to assemble the boards for the surface mount stuff.
Yeah, good point. This is definitely not lead-free, just from the era that this game existed in. That was before a lot of the Rojas and the clamping down on deadly materials that were used to make electronics, poisonous materials. I'm not using lead-free solder either, but I tell you what, once we're done doing this, I will definitely go wash my hands. All right, just kind of repeated the same thing over here. One thing to note with these Sega, Stern, Data East, actually I don't know if there's any technical Data East games that use this, but these rubber grommets, they can also go bad. You can buy new ones. Be careful if they're all cracked up. They're just there to try to isolate the opto board once it's in. So let's go over here, and I'm going to install these things. Ugh. Getting the transmitter on is kind of a pain in the booty. The transmitter is behind me, and it is. I just need to use a different tool. Instead of using a nut driver, I should probably be using just an open end wrench, but we'll do that on the installation side. There are washers that go on the other side of this board. I don't know what camera's working, but be sure to install those washers. I don't know how important they are. They're probably just there to prolong the actual life of the grommets, so the grommets don't get cut into by their posts on the trough, but that's just my best guess.
I'm right behind you, so don't do anything crazy.
Okay, no crazy. I didn't clean off the flux like a bad boy, but oh well, whatever. I think it'll be easier to do it this way. I might need to get some hand tools. We'll see. So this one, it's just hard to get this long nut driver into this position. So it's not difficult by any means. It's just slightly inconvenient, like most pinball maintenance is.
God, don't want to look at that anymore.
What do we not want to look at?
Just
the empty desk.
No, over there.
Oh no! Wason says, Kyle, clean the flux. All right, Wason, I'll do it just for you. Hi, Wason.
Hi, Wason.
Nice to see your face, see your name, I mean.
Ooh, my. What is happening?
Wason, maybe I will see your face when I come to Chicago in February.
Nope, he's going to hide.
Wason's like, I don't want to see you. You don't clean flux. I need a rag. To clean flux, the best way to do it, the way I'll normally do it is with a dirty toothbrush that I use like specifically for removing flux from circuit boards. I don't have that set up here. I use a canned flux remover. That is this is a great product. If you don't have this or can't find this wherever you are, isopropyl alcohol can also work pretty good. So in this instance, this is messy. I'll normally do this over a trash can, but just give a little spray, and then I'll use this towel around where I was soldering to try to wipe up some of the flux. Flux can end up being a bit corrosive. So on very complicated circuit boards, like if we were working on a Stern, Data East, Sega, or even a Williams like soundboard or something like that, the very small traces can be eaten up very quickly. Well, not very quickly, but over time with the flux left on the boards.
Blocking my shot. We're going to talk about this later, too. Okay.
Yeah, Moto found a cool product called the PinJack.
I didn't.
Oh man, when you have lots of flux to clean? Well, it's a vacation, so I'm not sure if I want to be flux man, but I will be there in the beginning of February to see a show. So I'll let you know closer Yes, I'd love to see you. And Eska will be coming as well, so maybe there's some ramen into it for us. Let's see. This is actually going to be a little harder with the playfield up. Let me put it back down really quick. We'll start the screws by hand, and then I can try to do it standing up. We'll see.
Let's go on your knees.
Ugh. We're working against gravity if I left the playfield up, trying to keep the screws and the washers in place. This system of trough jam optos was used on all of these Sega games up until some of the last of the old generation of Stern pinball games. I know for a fact that the games right around Simpsons Pinball Party to, gosh, probably closer to 2010 than not, maybe even later, used this style. So there's two different versions of this. There's two different versions of the single opto board, and then one version of a double opto board. So this opto just lets the game know that there is a ball in place waiting to be kicked by the up kicker. And then what they have, so it's called like a trough jam opto. On the double opto version of the board, there's another one that would, actually I don't know what it reports to software, but it reports that, you know, the ball is not here, it is now here and on its way out. Or just in case it were to double stack. I'm going to use a hand tool, just a hand wrench here, a 1/4 inch combo to tighten up this board. And then we will fire the game up and see if the game now is reporting correctly. So let's take a look-see. Make sure to plug in the transmitter. The transmitter just receives 5 volts and ground, where our receiver has a switch row and column wire here. So you've got your green in stripe and your white in stripe. That's how we know we have a row and a column. This reports just as a normal switch would. We'll fire the game up.
Baywatch will be.
I still need to clean the flux off of the receiver. It thinks there's a ball missing because I had the playfield up, so one of them probably shifted on its roller switch. Instead of using a whole board full of optos to tell where the balls are, this era of Sega game was just my least favorite because they use these annoying micro switches and then they have this board here. I can see a much brighter opto. Holy crap, that LED is like 3 times as bright. It was definitely going dim. So we will put this into switch test and all right, we're good. Now, when I, can you show the DMD emoto?
Oh, look how beautiful that is.
That's a nice shot. Oh, Wayson's giving us the knowledge. Jam tells us to kick again if a ball is sitting on it. It's also for operators to see. Oh, okay. It's definitely a, awesome, thank you. So if we look at the DMD now, the failure state before was the transmitter opto or the receiver opto was burnt out. Without a bright light, the game was seeing a closed switch all the time. The closed switch was what was making the ball or the game continue kicking this kicker because it thought a ball was there waiting to be staged. But now watch as I move this plunger upward, which breaks the path, we now have a correct switch closure. So this is a, if you've ever been nervous about, you know, working on a game or something like that, or working on a circuit board, this would be a great one to try. It's a very, very simple repair. This is definitely on a board work level, this is like a 3 out of 5, or a 2 out of 5 difficulty. The traces are small, but it is a single-sided board, so that makes it quite easy. Also, your failure condition, if you do royally screw up the boards while trying to fix them, is a $20 purchase for a new set of replacement circuit boards. This is a very easy one to tackle yourself. So, yeah, good. Okay, we fixed one problem. The next problem that we had with this game, as I was playing the game yesterday, I was not getting the reward for hitting the right ramp. Let's take a look at what's going on here and what the game is looking for to award reward the player for hitting the ramps. I'm going to bring this down. All right, Emoto, could you mind, can we film this?
Yeah.
Do you want me to use a handheld, or do you?
Oh, we're gonna use it all.
All right. So we have the right ramp here. This looks like it was a cost-saving measure, but generally in pinball, on a ramp, you'll have two switches. You'll have one switch that tells the game the ball has hit this ramp. We'll call that an entry switch. And then you'll have a ramp completed switch. That way, if the right ramp on this game, this one here, was lit for a jackpot, if you hit it and you hit this ramp entrance switch, but then the ball dribbled out, you don't want to reward the player for not making the clean shot and not making the jackpot, right? We have a switch here that says enter and a switch past the point of no return, which tells the game complete, the player has made this shot, give them the just reward. When I was playing this game yesterday, I wasn't getting any rewards from the right ramp, but I was getting a bit of a light show. Pay attention next time you're playing one of your games or any of your games. Generally, the software people will program in something like a bit of an effect, some flashers or something, a little sound that happens when you hit the entrance, and then something else once you hit the complete shot. This was giving me some flashes, but no points, no reward. I went into switch test, I actuated the complete shot back here, and nothing was happening. Okay, we have a dead switch. We'll take a look at it. There is an IDC wire got ripped out, and we'll fix it with a new crimp and stuff connector. But funnily enough, this ramp only has only one side. The side ramp on this, I think, is only a jackpot and like one mode reward. But the way that this is programmed is that we have a ramp entry and a complete for the right ramp shot, but the side ramp shot, the software only can see the complete shot. So if this was lit for a jackpot or lit for a mode, the software is looking for one closure of this switch to give the reward. Where this, in most traditional games, will have a you've entered and you've completed. The same for the ramp on the lighthouse over here. I'm sorry, I keep calling it a lighthouse. The guard station, we have a ramp entry switch and ball gate here, and this ramp comes up and immediately turns right, and we have our complete shot right here. So does that make sense how these switches are generally placed in a point of no return, right? This is clearly made a 90-degree turn and is now very, very much on this ball habit trail. There's no way it's going to go back down. It's going to complete its orbit, just like this switch is here. Anywho, that's a long-winded way of saying something screwed up, and let's take a look at how I found it.
Mr. Baxter wants to know if you're going to use the ratcheting crimper.
We will use the ratcheting crimper, absolutely. Wayson is out here giving us some more knowledge. Ramp exit is the important one. Most ramp entrances are just for sound effects. Some games have minor rewards on ramp entrances. That's good to know. Oh. If you guys don't know, Wayson is a bit of a coder himself.
Oh. Wayson, can you always be in our chat?
I'd love if Wayson was here all the time. So this was something we were working on, right? We had to take the ramps off of this game while we were working on refurbishing them. This is either something I did not notice, or this is something that I absolutely caused. But, okay, it wasn't working. I went into switch test. I actuated the switch. It didn't work there. Okay, we know what the problem is, right? I went down and I looked at the harness, and we just happened to have a connector here where the column side ripped out of the IDC connector. Yesterday, while I was playing the game, I just kind of stripped it back and I shoved it in the connector just so I could play the game, but that's, of course, not a permanent fix, so let's do it correctly. Very simply, we're just going to install a crimp and stuff Molex connector. So we need just a couple of pins and a housing, and I'm going to use the ratcheting crimpers on camera. Got my handy dandy box of Molex pins, etc. here. So I might have a very short one already cut down. I do, in fact. I have a 2-pinner right here. I think I've said this a few times, but generally when I buy Molex plugs and stuff like this, I just buy like 20 or 24 pin connectors. It's not in focus, but it's fine. You know what these look like. And I just cut them down as I need them. And then generally you end up with 4, 3, 2 pins, and we need exactly a 2-pin, so we're in luck. For this, there's no reason to use one of those fancy schmancy Trifurcon pins. I only ever really use those when we're dealing with voltage. Generally speaking, like the GI connectors and stuff, we don't need a, what's it called? A key. But we do have the ratcheting crimpers that Colin Baxter bought me. Pretty cool. We'll give them I've used them a few times. We'll use them again here. These are not keyed, but when we're using these, people will call them a Z connector, right? They do have locking ramps. This bit right here that ramps up is called a locking ramp, and that helps keep these things in position. So it's just 2 pins, so if we got it wrong, we could flip it, but when we're dealing with locking ramps, we can't. So let's just make sure we know. The locking ramp is going to face down. That means that the switch column is going to go on our left-hand side here. This one's pretty easy, green to green, white to white. So since this is already yanked out, I am going to grab my wire strippers here. Actually, I forgot, I already stripped this yesterday, so it's fine. We're going to just crimp. Okay, I need to learn how to use these really neat crimpers that Colin got me. I need to figure out what size is best for this crimp. I think this center one will work. The neat thing about these, the things that make these superior over my boring manual crimpers, is I can click this one time and now the pin is in here. So you do not need to do the strange balancing act that is required a lot of the time. So that makes that easy. I can't see what I'm doing, but I need to get in here to, sorry, I'm blocking the camera. This is pretty cool though. We'll get the insulation into the insulation crimp, make sure the wire is set just deep enough.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye, Wei-Sin. You're very welcome to be here whenever you'd like. I don't know if I got that. I'm gonna have to learn how to use these things because I can't see where the wires are going in. So let's investigate and see if I did a crap job. I think I did. I don't think I got any wire into the actual wire part of the crimp. So let's try that again. How lucky, we have a Wei-Sin sighting. Now who's going to come in next? Vinicor?
Oh. George Gomez.
George Gomez, yeah, he's on his way right now. Wei-Sin's running over to tell him. Ugh. It does. I mean, I guess, like, it should bottom out, right? Anyways, let's see.
The more expensive crimpers have a wire stop, else get your magic eyeballs to get a good look at the wire placement.
Huh. I mean, this one kind of does too, in a sense. I mean, you know what is neat about these is like the crimps are very uniform. I think I need to use the smaller die. I don't think that was the correct size die. It kind of takes a lot of the guessing work out of crimping and hoping that you crimped it correctly or tight enough or blah, blah, blah. And the other neat thing too is it does crimp the insulation and the wire side at the same time. So you don't need to go back and do a second step or a second pass through. These are awesome. I am very grateful.
The edge of the insulation in, then crimp, according to Mr. Baxter.
Yeah, well, it's just a learning experience. I want to make sure I do it right, you know? I know exactly how to do it with my old crimpers, but these ones are, it's foreign. It's cool. New set of tool, a new tool.
There's something weird on your shirt. What is it?
I'm gonna have to, I ungrouped these wires a little bit. I'm gonna make sure that they're nice and tight and packaged to go in to the crimper here, but get this guy through. I can kind of see the wire actually now. Oh, that's definitely right. Okay, so the smallest die is the correct one to use on these crimpers. It gets a better crimp. If this was going into something a little more, if it was going in something more important than a switch, I'd probably redo the green one again, but it's not that important, so I'm gonna leave it. Okay, so the locking ramp needs to go up, so that means white on left, so we've got to put our row here, and our column on the right. Now we stick that guy in like this, and the green one didn't snap into the housing, so I need to take it out again. Let me see if I can get that in there correct this time. The little cleat didn't catch. Now it's in. All right, now we've got a very secure switch wire. Super cool. What else was wrong with Baywatch? Everything else, I think it played okay. The other things I know I did yesterday was one of the super bands, the lens is good. One of the super bands on the slingshots was a little too tight. So instead of going in and readjusting the switch, I took the easy way out. Did the laptop just freak out again?
No, it didn't.
No.
I think he just heard me wrestling around.
Oh, okay.
But it's all good.
What I did was I took the super band and I kind of gathered up the looseness on the sides and bottom and bunched it up front. And that gave it just enough leeway to not continue to rebound back and hit the switch and then think it got hit again and rebound and machine gun like that. Sometimes with super bands you do need to adjust the switches because they won't wear and they're a lot tighter than regular rubber. So that is something to consider, but just unbunching it seemed to do the job. Okay, other things I know we need to do. Let's look at the auto launch coil. The auto launch coil, so okay, some other things we did yesterday. Emoto and I filmed a spot on like how to install leg levelers. That seems really simple and easy, right? But there's some caveats and tried to share some of that. But in that process of like re-leveling the game and changing the pitch of the game, the ball was able to make a complete orbit a little bit easier on launch now. So I think that helped by decreasing the pitch and keeping it level. But this is a abused and used coil. So let's get in there and inspect. And I did bring a new coil sleeve. I think that is a justified installation here. So we have a new part. The other thing we'll need to do is probably adjust the, whatchamacallit back here too, the habit rail to make sure that it
All right. Oh, that's insane. Yeah, so Emoto is using her super fancy camera, and the batteries went dead, and the way we capture audio is through the capture card, which is also then piped through the signal. So I think when we yanked the capture card, or when we yanked the footage, the capture card stopped doing everything.
Which hasn't happened before. Last time we did this.
And I think since, okay, hold on, this might get weird. I'm gonna, this is something we had to do back in the day to get the sound back. Oh shoot, well we might just have no sound from the microphones anymore. We might need to use the Yeti mic.
No.
I mean, unless we wanted to like troubleshoot it and turn the stream off again.
No.
Yeah, here. Okay, well, Emoto and I are sharing a mic now. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, you're bringing it closer?
Well, just in case, because I know it's a bit more directional.
I'm gonna fix it.
Streaming is hard, y'all. I'm sure that you know that. I'm going to turn this one off for now, just in case you do get it fixed. Streaming is not easy. When you sit down and you watch somebody like Jack Danger, or you watch someone like Manu at Mystery Pinball Theater stream, it seems easy. It's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And it's, I mean, like, let's be honest, this is super low stakes, right? If I screw this up, you guys aren't pissed off. Imagine like what it's actually like doing real live broadcasting, like for television or something like that. God, that must be so damn stressful. We're just two dummies doing pinball streaming. I think the easiest way to access this is going to just be to like fully yank it out of the game. Let's just do that. Pinball is easy. Streaming is not easy. Actually, no, I'm just making it harder on myself.
Oh yeah, so why when we were trying to talk to you when I killed the sound, but which game did you get? What's your new game? Your first game?
You definitely want to do this with the power off. We don't want to get anywhere near solenoid voltage and switch matrix voltage. That's how you make things explode. To be honest, this is actually the hardest part of pinball repair, is tuning the game up.
He got a
Fixing games is
Godzilla
easy
Pro?
and procedural. The getting things to play right is actually the hard part. Nice. That's awesome. I love me some Godzilla.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a nice plunger, a nice coil bracket, a spring that's still in good shape. No reason to replace that. This coil sleeve came out extraordinarily easy, and to be honest, it's not in bad shape. This coil does feel, it feels a little big. It feels like it's just a little bit, like it has expanded a little, but the fact that the coil sleeve comes out easy, I'm not worried about it. We're just going to keep running it. It's definitely fixed the problem. Or the problem was not as pronounced as it was before. Where did I put that coil sleeve? Did I leave it over there?
Nay.
Oh, here it is. I like to call these things a bell sleeve. oops. Like these are used like on like chime and bell assemblies a lot, where there needs to be a pass through, right? Most of the time, like a coil sleeve just ends with the flange, where it's pressed up against a stop. So I call these bell sleeves. That's what old timers called them. In front of me, and I repeat what they say. So we will install this here, and that will allow the protrusion to sit through the front. What? Are we losing cameras like left and right?
No.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get a cool
What's
shot.
happening? I don't know. What's happening? Emoto's moving around. Can you let's focus in on this a little bit more.
I know. I love.
Is the A7 like just not working right now?
Oh, it's working fine. I think it's the Elgato that's not
Took a
even
dump?
lighting up.
Try unplugging it from the USB spot on the laptop. Hey, can I have a view of the camera again really quick?
Stand by.
Nice.
Yeah, this girl.
Installing a new coil sleeve. It's nice and happy. Emoto broke it. Emoto brought her really amazing camera, and but she accidentally forgot her keep it plugged in and don't have to use rechargeable battery adapter. So when she went to go change the
there.
battery, we lost the signal for that, which was also our audio signal. So we're making do, y'all. Sorry. We'll get that in. You know, another thing I did with this also, I think right after we went unlive last week, we ended the stream, I also
I'm gonna blame your laptop for this
my laptop's fine.
error
It's fine.
because when I unplugged it from the computer and replugged it back in, it worked great.
Well, yeah, I think the Elgato dropped the signal when it stopped receiving signal. So now you just reinitialized it. It's good. Should we try the audio?
The audio should be working.
Can you? Yeah. See. Okay, let's just keep using the Yeti.
No. Chop. Hey. I will whisper. Talk, Kyle.
I don't have my mic on. I just unplugged my pack. Yank the Yeti off.
I did. All right. So, troubleshooting 101.
All right, got it.
Turn it off, unplug it, turn it back on, plug it in.
It's literally all we need to do, all the time. Okay, maybe that will help. Hopefully that does something. What's the next step? Let's turn the game on and watch this thing launch.
Can you turn your pack down one beep?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's launch a ball around the orbit and see what it does. The next step to getting this complete orbit correct is to probably adjust the ball habit trail. The reason that this is really important is the game just needs to be tuned up right? I mean, we need the game to do what it's supposed to do. A lot of the points rewarded in this game do come from the skill shot. Or not a lot of points, but it is fun. It is not very satisfying when the skill shot just doesn't work. And most of the skill shots in this game are off of the plunger that require a full plunge. So,
How's that for Kyle's audio? Better? Daniel said David's eyes are funny.
he is very funny. Let's do this. Can you get that in frame, like just this area right here, like a good observation? And maybe chat will be able to help us see what's going on here. So I'm going to go into the diagnostics here, and we're going to go
Can you
into the...
remove the ramps?
I cannot, unfortunately.
You could.
Oh, I need to pull the interlock switch. Well, it worked there. It wasn't like the strongest of... So we're trying to figure out why we're getting that chatter right there. This thing should very easily be able to launch the ball all the way around. I'm going to get up here and watch too. I think that this thing needs to come away from the wall a little bit. This is the exit habit trail. You guys, it's hard to see behind the VUC. The exit habit trail, I think it's really close to this, and when it's popping out, it's hitting this wall and then chattering up against this post. I'm going to watch it here. That wasn't that bad. The thing is it's not reliable, so we have to change something. Actually, is it activating the runaround gate? Oh, it's not. Okay, well, hold on. Actually, it might be okay. There is a controlled gate right here. I'm going to hold the controlled gate in the open position. It's still not perfect. I don't like it. It's not reliable. Let's do this. I do need to pull the playfield forward for this.
Yeah, what is it supposed to do?
Well, it's supposed to run the entire way around. You've got a couple skill shots in this game. One skill shot is plunging the ball and then hitting a lit rollover. Another skill shot is plunging the ball and then hitting the shark hole. And the other skill shot is hitting the side ramp. So it'll plunge all the way around into this kicker, which then kicks it back around the orbit to this flipper where you can hit the side ramp.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It's a heavy playfield. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to adjust this thing to reliably hit the orbit. To me, some of the most important adjustments you can do on a game involve the initial plunge, right? Like, there's nothing worse than a game that has a really crappy shooter rod or something like that, right? Like one that just doesn't feel right. It's got a compressed spring or something, or and it doesn't sound right. If you don't get that perfect skill shot or the ability to make a good shot, it kind of sucks. So I want to make sure that this works correctly. I think that's one reason why operators didn't like this game very much, is it definitely takes a lot of adjustments to keep it working correctly. Let's see what we have now. And this is what I'm saying about, like, this is why pinball, this is the harder part of pinball than actually fixing the game. Fixing a pinball game is extremely procedural. This is very much something that is done with feel. Okay, let's try that again, but this time I forgot I need to hold the control gate down. Look at that. All right, that's pretty good. Let's see if it'll do it again. Oh, that's so much better. Just a small adjustment of the of getting the ramp in the right position now makes it, fly through. And now it's happy. So that's another thing we can knock off the list. That's awesome. What else was going on with this silly game? Oh, let's lube up the spinner.
I used to think the spring colors for shooter rods were just cosmetic options. Oh yeah, it's the tensions.
Yeah. Easy way for manufacturers to discern what the difference in tension is.
And we do have a kit that has all the different tensions. That's pretty affordable if you ever wanted to try it out and see which one you like better.
Yeah, 99% of the time I would always go by what the manufacturer says to use, what works best, right? But sometimes no matter how much adjusting or tuning to try to get them to work the way you need, it's not ideal. It's not perfect every time. So if you do need to make something stronger, or you're trying to increase the difficulty of a game, that is definitely something to consider. So.
Do we have the spring replacements for the stand-up targets on Hobbit?
The what?
the stand-up targets on Hobbit.
What, the monsters that pop
Oh,
up?
that pop up, like the trolls?
I think we have all of the parts of that assembly, I think, that are wear items, because it's identical to know the targets.
For it said no, the target?
Oh, the drop targets, the drop targets.
Oh.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You might not be able to search for them with a Jersey Jack part number, but you can use the same drop target spring that are used in Williams drop targets from the 90s. So click on that one, Emoto, the 10364. I think that's it. One to the left. Yeah, click that one. I think, yeah, those have the JJP numbers on it too. So look up part number 10-364 on our website. That's the Williams part number, and it also has some Jersey Jack spring numbers associated to it as well. That should be the same one. The Jersey Jack assembly is just a Williams assembly because it was the best assembly that they could use. Let's super lube.
We don't have Hobbit on associated.
Look at this, Emoto.
Come on.
Let's see if we can show this off. I'll definitely order one today. Don't order one. Order like 10. It's definitely worth it to have more around, especially if you shoot one across the room and you never find it. They're not very expensive.
Where are you
Let's take a look at the spinner.
Ooh.
So, we have a spinner that spins lacklusterly. You hear it? You can even hear it going like a dolphin.
Oh, that's kind of a cool...
It doesn't spin very much. It's kind of sad. It's kind of pathetic. But we can add some lubrication. Super Lube. We talked about it last week. We just never had time to actually use it. It comes in this really bitchin' little applicator with a very skinny little tip. The picture on our website I do not think is up to date. But it's super cool. It's really small. It's easy to use. So I'm going to put a towel here to catch any drips, but we are going to apply, remember, less is more. I am watching like 1 to 2 little drips go into this assembly on both sides. I'm going to lubricate this side as well. I'm going to dab the excess off just a teeny bit here. But this should give us a spinner that almost replicates the amazing Opto spinner that Stern is using on their games now.
Pat the Weirdo, don't be scared about shopping out your No Fear. And
Yeah,
you can
don't be
always come
scared.
on the show and ask questions.
No Fear is a pain in the butt. But
Stop
you
trying to
can do it.
scam. Don't scam.
Lube then dab. No. You can't, No Fear is a pain in the butt, but if you did it, you definitely get a more prestigious badge. If that's the first game you've ever shopped out, it'll be so much better too. It spins a whole lot freer now.
I kind of miss the dolphin sound though.
It's amazing. So now we'll get some really, really awesome spinner sounds, so that's great. We can even put it in test mode and watch it be silly. Watch. Do 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 do. Yay! Okay, what else? There has to be something else. It's not time to play it yet.
You were going to...
I thought the pop bumpers needed adjustment, but then when we played yesterday, it was pretty good. I think all the switches are good. We did check that all the flashers went. What else needs lube? On this game, not much. We actually, you know what? I don't know if I had done it. Let's lift the playfield up again. There is one more spot, 1 or 2 more spots that does need lubrication or will need lubrication on these games. Now, in an ideal world, if I was taking this apart all the way, we would use some like Molly grease, the lube in the green tube that I use quite often. I don't think I did it on this game, but we do want to lubricate the pivot points for the slingshot kickers. That is an important thing to use. So I'm going to put the super lube away because We won't use that. This is a little more precious.
Oh yeah, you should totally get Dave
Oh
to
crap.
come help out.
My lubrication is in my other box that I didn't bring. That's okay. We'll use the Super Lube. We can use the Super Lube. And it is precious, but I also work where it comes from. We can put a couple drops of lubricant on the pivot point only. We want to lubricate where the armature rides on that peg. And I'll try to work it in here. I'll probably put a teeny bit more on. But that is one point that you do want to lubricate on a pinball game. There are other places on the pinball games that you want to lubricate and use grease on, but those are on games that have ball serve armatures. So on older Williams games that don't use a trough.
Manu asked if I needed a Sprite. Nah, I'm good.
Manu, are you going to bring us a Sprite?
Yeah, bring
Manu, you know who was
I'll
here
get a
yesterday and it made me really sad? We had a company Christmas party last night and I drank and then I got tired when I got home. But Russ and Shannon were like 5 blocks from my house at the arcade.
Bay Area people.
And it made me really sad that I couldn't go hang out with them.
Me too.
If I wasn't like in bed already, I would have just gone out to go play some pinball with them, and I am sad. But anyways, I'm going to dab a little bit more Super Lube in the other slingshot here. And work it in.
Can't catch up with this guy.
I was talking about ball armatures though. So on older games like Twilight Zone or Addams Family or any of the old Bally games or Williams games that are in my collection here behind me that have a saucer that then the ball kicks into into the shooter lane. That pivot point also needs lubrication. Anywhere where metal on metal are gliding against each other is a good place to put lubrication. But remember, when we talk about lube, we always remind people lubrication never goes on solenoids. It is never used in that position, ever. Sometimes people find it useful to put a teeny bit of lubrication on drop targets. I think that that's an adjustment issue, and they can be adjusted out without the necessity of using lube, but it's not going to gum anything up, I guess. But yeah, there's only 2 slingshots here, so I think we're good. I think I want to give the game like one more, before we really get down and play it too, let's make sure that we do our ABT, always be tightening. I think that's one thing that we never really did on this game is kind of go through some of the big assemblies and ensure that all of the screws are tight. This game really only has 1 or 2 up kickers and everything is feeling tight.
So Squalito said, additional question about the drop targets.
Yeah.
I always have trouble reaching the upper part of where the spring lock is in there. Is there a trick or tool you use to avoid removing the full mechanism?
Man, it's really a pain in the butt.
We did this when I was in town last time on another drop target mech.
On this one here.
Oh, it was with that one? Yeah,
Yeah.
where we were struggling with the...
It's kind of a pain in the butt. Sometimes I like to tell people that sometimes the perceived long way will end up being the actual quick way. And it might be worth it for you just to remove the entire assembly to ensure you get it and you're not fussing about with it. I would say though that sometimes having a spring hook or a poker to really get in there and hold everything to, push the spring around can be helpful.
The hemostats was
Hemostats, absolutely. We learned that was a really good trick. But to be honest, I would say just remove the mechanism. It's really not that hard. There's only 3 or 4 screws that hold it in, and you will have a much better time accessing the unit. Okay, look at this. We found a real loose guy right here. Emoto's dropping sweet products.
Oops.
I don't know what camera's on. What camera's on? This one. I bet it's this one. I can work a camera.
Oh.
This camera's worth more than like everything I own.
This is a good one too, this double-ended spring tool.
I don't know what's in focus. If it's red, it's in
Right
focus
here.
or out of focus?
Whoops.
That looks like it's in focus. Okay, check this out. This
There you
up kicker
go.
has a super loose bracket. Can you see those not the actual bracket itself, this has a bit of flex, but the actual coil is really loose. Maybe it's better to show it from the other side, but What we want to do is we want to ensure that this is nice and tight. Up kickers lose strength. When up kickers are loose, it'll throw the ball all over the place. It will break. It'll shear things. It's not good. So one thing I would, the way I'd recommend doing this, do these have nuts? No, it's threaded. So loosen them. Get them both nice and loose. Push that bracket up. There is a stationary stop for the coil at the top of this bracket. We're going to ensure that the coil is nice and tight, and then we will tighten down. Don't wrench on one. Get them both evenly. This one does not want to tighten, so I'm going to have to get in the way of the camera here.
Squalor toe, yeah.
Not bad.
Let's see.
This bracket is super jank. It's just really loosey-goosey, but other than that, I think we're good.
Squalor toe, what email did you put the order in? And I'll hit up our team back at the office to see if they can add that for you. Hi, Pinball Rob. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Oh, let's do the coin door. Let's make sure all of our lights function on the coin door, etc. And let's get some LEDs. I'm going to put LEDs in the coin door to ensure that those lights never burn out. And the game looks like it's eternally ready to take your money.
Okay, hold on.
Not working. We're streaming right now.
No, we're
Scream
helping.
at
Look,
Sarah.
I will. I'm gonna tell them that he wants to add that to his order. Where are you going?
The spring tool. That's going to be. Can you show us? Can you just give us the order number? Your email should have a confirmation that says MS and then some numbers. Give us that, and then we can add that to your order for free. So MS 954369.
Thank you.
Just tell Ashley to throw it in there for free because I said so. Well, ask her because she's wonderful. We love Ashley. Everyone loves everyone that works in our customer service department because they're very nice. This camera is so cool. I don't know what's in focus though, but let's make sure that we have fully functioning lights on all of our action buttons, like our start button, ball launch, etc. This is awkward, but that's how it's going to have to be. So we do have some lights for the coin door. I am going to yank these out, though. Let's get rid of the incandescents and use...
There's Kyle for you, because I said so.
Because I said so. We'll put an LED in here. Those things are kind of fused, so I'm going to get a screwdriver to help me pry them off. This is a...
What part are you working on?
We're going to change out these light bulbs, and then I'm going to throw it in lamp test to make sure that the extra ball start and ball launch lights work.
Baywatch. We'll be right back.
It's actually a nice 555. It's not even blackened. I'll save that one and add it to my collection. But just since these are always on, let's just throw LEDs in there. They will never burn out. They will draw less current, and we will always have nice lit coin return buttons.
Pinball Rob.
I always laugh at people that say that they have a fully shopped game or they did everything on a game and then their lights on their coin door like aren't functioning. It's like, you have great attention to detail, don't you? This is a great last step to really make a game look correct. Even if you don't ever plan on putting quarters in. This is a coin controls coin door. I hate them. Williams used them for a minute. Data East, Sega used them for a long time. Stern used them for a minute and then stopped. They're cheap. They're easy to work on, but they're cheap.
What LED bulb did you just put in there?
Warm white Comet bulbs. I mean, it's like, look, it's just a coin door. It's not anything super fancy, but it's just nice. It'll stay lit. I could use any color. I probably should have used a cool white because I never will use cool white on much, but why not?
Yeah, Pinball Rob, you should be good. If you're shipping to Michigan and put in the order today, use the code, it'll get there before Christmas.
Yeah, you should be good. Okay, we're gonna put it in lamp test mode. We're gonna light all lamps. The ball launch lights. Let's lift the, since we have it in test mode now, I can lift the playfield back up. Get it out of the way. But we do have some lamps that are not working. Here for start, or the extra ball buy-in. I always disable the extra ball buy-in.
Cool whites. Yeah, you should have put cool whites in there.
I should have, because I won't use them. But
Sometimes Kevin Moore puts in orange or red, depending on the insert color. Clear dome.
Yeah, match the color. Cool whites are not the best. Get out of here. Look, I just put a warm white in there because that's what I had on hand. You can put anything in there. You know what? Sometimes I'll do on my games at home. When I take all the crappy LEDs out of games that I buy, I have a huge box full of just crummy LEDs. I'll throw anything in there. You don't have to use like the nicest LEDs you have. I just happen to have 2 of them sitting there.
Not cool whites for sure.
If sometimes I'll do a red or an orange as well, but I'm going to come back here and we're going to remove the start button, the actual switch. I'm trying to remember if this one is a twist or if this one is a pull. It looks like it is a pull, and we have an extremely blackened bulb in there. Look at that guy.
Can you see? No.
I can't see because you're using my computer for work.
We're good to go. Confirmed from Ashley.
Look at that one.
She got you your double-ended spring tool.
That one might be older than some
good
of you
luck with your
people
drill
watching the
press.
stream. You never know. Look at that one. It's beautiful.
It actually is. It'll make good jewelry.
That's what I was going to say. Turn this into an earring.
Yeah, okay.
You can be the queen of the blown bulbs. Let's see if the other
Queen
one.
of the blown bulbs.
So I'll take
yep.
one of the 555s I yanked out of the coin return lights and shove it in here.
Oh, look at that. Flashy.
These are the really important things when it comes to like shopping out a game. I think.
Keeping this forever.
This game's not perfect. It'll never be perfect. In fact, I don't want it to be perfect. But these little things just make me happy. This one's a butthole. It's really hard to yank on this switch because it's in there tight. Oh, look at this one. Okay, you have a matching pair.
We're calling Pez old. Oh, wait. Oh, sweet. Queen of the blown bulbs. Let's go.
All right, sweet. Now we have...
Could probably just fit in my gauged ears.
Do you think so?
Probably.
Do you need to clean them?
No. That's how you build your immune system. No.
All right.
My hole's too small.
All of those are working. All the other feature lamps are working. I mean, there are some things I need to do still. I actually haven't hit this game with the vacuum yet. I haven't cleaned down the lock bar receiver. I guess since I haven't done that, I should replace the 5 balls decal. You know what, since it's nasty in there, let me just take my nasty rag and I am going to wipe down that lockdown bar receiver. I'll throw my lockdown bar and let's play a little bit of Baywatch. Let's see if some of those changes made a big difference. These, put some Novus on a dirty rag and the Novus will pick up all of the crumbs and ickiness and also lubricate the rag to try and remove some of the nasty. This definitely has seen quite a few sodas and beers spilt on it. It's not gross, but it's rusty and a little gross. It's not super bad, but yeah, just pick up some of that dirt. This is much better done with a vacuum or an air compressor and a vacuum, but whatever. Other things that I always say, like, you know, you need to vacuum your games out. This game needs to be vacuumed, and it will be. But we always would joke is another reason a game would never be shopped out if the little corners in the plywood weren't zip undone. Oh, nice, Emoto. You look silly in a good way. So clean out your plywoods. Make sure your game is handsome. I'm going to wipe the dust off of this voltage box. Ooh, nice. And then I'll hit it with the vacuum. Maybe when I bring it home, I'll actually like hit it with a vacuum that actually cleans things and doesn't just spew dirt like the one here does. You know. But ta-da! All right, look, we have a Baywatch. It's pretty bitchin'. Let's get this game back down, put the lockdown bar on, and see if we can play a little Baywatch. See if we can find any more problems. Moto's laughing at me because I'm being a spaz.
No. Look how tall he is.
So, I'm at the top of the ceiling. I don't know. Not the only person who does that. Yeah, gotta clean everything, dude. Get all the lights working.
Okay.
Who am I calling old? I'm not calling anyone old. I'm saying that there might be some Zoomers in here.
He was calling you young.
That light bulb I just stuck in Emoto just stuck in her ear is probably older than my sister.
Oh, yeah, let's see. Can you see it? I'm officially.
You did all
what
you
am
could.
I? Queen of the blown bulb?
The blown bulbs. I'm gonna wash my hands.
Huh? I'll make them into danglies, actually.
It's really dark back here.
All right, we're gonna set up to do some play testing. How do we want to do this? Blown bulb royalty. I'm taking these out. I will make them into.
I'm gonna get myself a refreshment.
And you'll see it at the next pinball show. What is the first pinball show everyone is going to in 2023? Our first official show will be Texas Pinball Festival in March, the end of March. And then we're immediately going to Midwest Gaming Classic, the beginning of April.
Oh, wait. No, hold on. We gotta have one more thing to do. I need to see what keys I have in my toolbox. What drawer has the keys in them, Emoto? Oh, the top one.
Top one.
I know I have a bunch of these at home, but here is my key.
Hey, Mikey.
Let's install a key.
Install a key?
The game is not actually yours
Yeah.
until you install your own key
Oh, God.
into the coin door. So
That's a great thing to do. So it won't swing open all the time, too.
yeah. Where's my?
We're repositioning cameras, y'all. Sorry.
No. Yeah, get that done. I have a bunch of the keys that we sell at Marco that I give to customers, unless it's like my favorite customer or myself. I have my own key.
He really likes it.
We got it. All right.
All right, let's go.
To install a key, it's very easy. I need to teach this to Josh. Josh, if you're watching, one thing that drives me insane about the way you installed all the keys at the arcade is they have to go, you never know if it needs to go one direction or another direction. It drives me nuts. I'm extremely neurotic. You all know this. You watch me talk for hours a day. All of my games, the little Reiki part of the key faces to the right. That way, whenever I walk up to one of my games, I know exactly which way the key needs to go and I don't need to fumble with it a million times.
That's
So,
good.
I'm going to install it that way. Ensure, double check. It goes that way. Okay. Stick the key through here. We'll get our nut. I have this palm driver, the 7/8 inch ratchet or socket on the end for doing lock work. It makes things very easy. Sometimes it's really hard to get those nuts off, so I use like a set of channel locks to kind of like break it, just because I don't carry a socket wrench with me. But the palm driver exerts just enough torque with your hand. So it's reversible. You can go, huh? You do not need this. You literally could just carry this and it almost does the same thing. But I really like the palm driver because it's handy.
Can these locks be rekeyed?
No. Well, I mean, technically it could, but no. So just buy new locks or buy your own locks. This is like a key that I have all my home games on. And like back when I lived in California and I actually operated games, I had all my games on a different key than my home games. So actually that's kind of a pro tip. If you do ever operate a game, don't use the same keys that you might like buy from us or Pinball Life or like Pinball Resource. Do not use those keys on location. Like everybody that has a pinball machine probably has that key. You don't want to lose your hard-earned money. Find a key company, a lock company that can sell you a unique number, so you don't ever run into someone having the ability to steal your stuff. When I go to pinball shows, I generally do not ever need to go to the technical booth to get the keys for games because I have almost all of them in my pocket all the time. So I forget the name of the company that I buy my keys from because it's been a while since I bought them, but they're out of Chicago. Just in case, most of you guys, if you need to know this, you probably already know this, but it's, hold on. Wico Security Products, W-I-C-O Security Products. You call them, it's old school. You say, I want a 7/8 inch key, with this number on it, and they will key them for you. There's different kinds of keys. This is a single bit key. These are extremely easy to pick. That is why I run this a lot on my customers' games, etc. You don't get to know my key. Actually, you can know my key. It's 444.
We're hacking you.
That's fine, because that's okay. But I have a 444 key. Double bit keys are almost impossible to pick. Don't get round keys. The round ones are not good. They're very easy to pick as well. A double bit key is a lot more difficult. You need a lot more rakes to be able to pick those things, where I could get one of these things open in a few seconds. So. No, this is fine. I don't care. If you want to come to my house, I'll give you a key to my pinball game. Look at this. Very easily. It's a 444. You can totally get one and use it. I'll give you a key. I don't care. But I won't tell you what my key for my operated games are.
445.
Yeah, no. It's 666. You got me. No, it's a double bit key, and it's hard to pick. It took me 12 minutes to get into one once, so I don't think most people can do that. 445. All right, let's put the camera on the game. Let's play a little bit of Baywatch. Also, let me see if this is. That's a little tight. The door doesn't really move. I like to have just a teeny bit of movement. I mean, we're talking like less than a millimeter of movement. It makes it easier to pick the lock if you ever need to pick the lock. But since I have 10 bazillion of these keys, I know I'll never need to pick it. Lock cams come in different shapes and sizes. These coin control doors like straight cams. Sometimes you'll need a cam with a bit of a dog leg in it, but this is fine.
Hey, Kyle.
Hi.
Before we play Baywatch,
Emoto, check this out.
we should look at this thing. But before we look at this thing, we should watch this awesomely hilarious beginning video.
It's a jack to move your pinball game.
We're gonna turn on the
They
video.
met this guy at the pinball show in Chicago, and he made this thing, and you can lift up one of your legs with your pinball game too.
So we'll talk about it in a second, but watch this first.
Oh,
Is
Terry
your
Hardy will tell you
level
everything
pin
you need to know.
causing you grief? Time to put that beach body to work, mister. That's it. Just lift with your back. Oh no! You now have a hernia. Would you like some help? the PinJack will do all the heavy lifting, making the job super easy. This video is going to show you how it works.
Carrie's a funny guy.
So if you want to see the full video that Carrie made, just go to his YouTube page, Carrie Hardy.
Yeah.
Hold up the photo again.
Yeah, it's like an appliance jack, but set up exactly for pinball. So you can use it to lift up a corner of your game if you've got a bad back or you can't. It's hard for you to lift up games. It's pretty cool. It's a nice unit. It's well put together. It's a cool thing. We'll sell them eventually, so if you're interested, you can buy one. It's pretty nice.
Yep. And we have the listing on here. I want to see you do it. We'll just show it. We have the listing on our website now. You can see it in the link in the description. If you click the email me when available, as soon as they come in stock, we'll ping you and you can get one. But look, check this out.
Ta-da. Wow, look at how high it is. And then you can do your adjustments to try to level the game or whatnot. And then you can lower it by holding the bottom and pushing the top, and sets it back down.
And then go all the different angles.
Yeah, you can use it from any side. I'm going to try to get them to modify it because it needs to have something on the bottom to not scratch people's hardwood floors. It needs some stuff to not damage legs, like like some felt or some rubber or something, I guess, on all sides. But yeah, it's pretty handy.
And look, you can go on all sides of the leg.
Yeah, it'll work on any side.
Work in tight spaces.
It's pretty cool.
And if you get two of them, you could have two jacked up at a time and really level super easily. But
Definitely a lot easier than doing this, because this hurts your knee.
and
So-
most people can't do that because I'm not tall enough to
People
do
that aren't as tall as Kyle.
Can I
So
do
it's pretty
that?
cool. We should have them in stock someday.
My
so.
knee doesn't make it. So I need the PinJack. Okay, now
All right,
we can play.
let's film Baywatch. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can find some more broken stuff. I think the volume is low enough.
I'll drop the link in 1 second.
And it's called the PinJack. It's got a clever little
Oh,
name.
save your back.
Use the PinJack.
Use the PinJack. We're creating a little product spotlight video for it as well, so it'll become. Oh, hello,
It's your mom. Hello.
Hi, Mom.
We heard that you are the most competent pinball fixer in the family.
Because you watch PinTech Live.
All right. Look at the Hoff. Look at his eyes. They look great. Oh, hey, let's talk about, someone last week asked about Data East flashers. I don't remember what the person was asking about, but something about Data East flashers, or I think the person was asking is like, oh, do yours in the back work? And I was like, yeah, they work. You know what I learned about Data East flashers, and I think they did this just for cheapness' sake. Data East wired all of their flashers in serial. So you'll have one transistor that will drive 4 flashers. And that's not always 4, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4. Here's the problem. If you do have a flasher that ends up going out, the more voltage ends up being applied to the remaining flashers. I'm sorry, wait, were they? No, they're wired in, no, if they were wired serial, if one of them went out, the rest of them would go out. Bally wired their flashers in serial on 6803 games. These are wound in a parallel fashion, but they would run all of them on one circuit, I think. So what ends up happening is, like, if one flasher goes out, there's less of a voltage drop, and more voltage ends up being applied to the other group of them, and it just ends up burning them out quicker. That's one thing I learned, and I did not really know about Data East games, but if you have flashers that are out, replace them, or else the other ones will start to explode quicker. So, anyways.
Yes, Mom, you definitely need the PinJack.
You do need one. Now
And
that you
save
guys
your
have
back.
like 1,000 pinball machines coming to your house, you're going to have the Harney arcade. Emoto and her dad just bought a Corvette. I am so jealous.
Yeah.
I love Corvette.
Okay.
It's going to be loud because I have the glass off, but can we see the full game? You can just see my butt.
No,
What's
I'm
up?
gonna switch.
I do need to
Stand by.
get a haircut.
What year Corvette?
1994.
Yeah, it's an oldie.
1994
Oldie but goodie.
Bally Corvette. One of the greatest games of all time.
Is that okay?
I don't know. It's not like a gameplay stream, so let's just see what's going on. So let's see if we can get the shark hole. Let's see if we can get the side ramp skill shot. That is the most intense plunge and then back around. So we've got, it went around, it went in, it went out, and we beefed it.
So whatever you do, don't step back.
Friend of the show, Andrew Barney, is going to produce some hot rodded flipper coils for me. This game uses 2 different flipper coils for the left and right side.
Big engine.
On this game, this is a much more intense shot, the left-hand side of the game. So the right flipper uses a stronger coil. We've got a long orbit, we've got a very steep ramp. The right-hand side shots, doing a ball search. The right-hand side shots are a lot more shallow, so this uses a much weaker coil. At the end of the day, we're going to be putting just a bit of a hot rod in. It'll feel nice and strong both ways, but we'll see. I was a little apprehensive about the flipper performance the first time I played. I think I ended up having the game like just jacked up way too steep. And whatever it's at now, it's playing quite nice. It still might be fun to put some hot rod coils in just to see what happens, but I always really like the feed on this game. For the up kicker feeds the ball to the shark flipper. And if you don't hit it with the shark flipper, it feeds so nicely into this in lane. It's really nice.
What's a hot rod coil?
What's a hot rod coil? So, for example, let's just say that the left-hand flipper uses a 24-1100 coil, and the right side one might use a 24-950. The 24-950 is going to be stronger than the 24-1100. We can hot rod them by putting in like a 24-800 or a 24-850, just something a little bit more powerful to make both flippers strong and reliable. I am almost 100% always against changing the flipper coils to something stronger than the manufacturer recommends. But there are some instances on games like The Lord of the Rings where having more powerful coils definitely make the game better. So we'd hot rod them by Andrew at APB Enterprises will make me some specially wound coils. Yeah, Andrew will tell you about it.
Wound with love.
And so like the upper coils, right, the upper flipper, this is an extremely weak coil because it needs to make one shot that is 20 inches wide. This coil is a little bit stronger than this one because it needs to make a nice orbit shot on that side ramp. So, but the lower flippers, if we hot rod them, will have nice, fast action all the way up and down. Properly rebuilt flippers with new components or eliminating broken things and adjusting them correctly, 90% of the time will give you the best performance. But in this instance, Andrew is convinced that a change will be better. So we'll give it a shot. Oh, I missed the shark hole skill shot. Tidal wave. I think this one is shooting the up kicker, but I also missed. It plays nice though. I'm very satisfied. This has been a long time coming, but we haven't often like actually completed a game right away on PinTech. And we worked through this one from beginning to end. This one was a little bit less work than I thought it would be. There's a lot more waiting and cleaning and fine-tuning and doing a bit of cosmetic adjustments. But one thing is it doesn't have a plumb bob. We do need to add a plumb bob into this game. before I bring it home, we definitely will. But this is definitely something that you need to do once you finish a game, is play it. You really need to play a lot of pinball and ensure everything functions the way it should. You're happy with the way it plays. You break things. Most of the time when I'm working on a game, the breaking happens now, after I finish working on it and I think I'm done. And that's how we know that we're going to have a reliable game. It's like the test drive, right? Most mechanics won't send a car away without test drive. This is the fun part where you get paid to play pinball. If you worked in a shop, if you don't, you're just working on playing your own game, and that's also entertaining.
How did this guy get so far out?
Needed more room.
Gross.
Just gotta shoot the shark targets, and I hit the impossible orbit. How did that work? Gosh, those pop bumpers are adjusted really, really nice. I didn't even do anything. They just work. I love that soft kickback of the rescue target there. Oh, right out the outlet. Oh, Baywatch will be right back. Why did I deserve that? I'd like to start the multi-ball and see if that works. So let's fake it a little bit. Let's see if I can at least hit the shot. No. The device is kind of neat. Can y'all see it? Sorry, I'm ignoring the coil. Tracy from Outer Spacey. Hey,
Tracy.
I hope you're doing well after your surgery.
Oh.
I'm hanging out with you in Texas.
Hi, Tracy.
Hot rodding a flipper coil in this case is just using a custom-made stronger coil than the OEM. The strongest coil that Stern or Sega in this case made was like I think a 24-900 or a 950, and that's what the strongest coil is on this game. And we're trying to get something just a little bit stronger in there. How much would you have charged if this was a customer's game? I mean, if we did it in the time frame that it took me to do this, like
$1 million.
$20,000, but I charge $100 an hour for work a lot of the time, and this is, I mean, this really wasn't that much work. I would have gotten it done a lot quicker if I wasn't talking either. So, I mean, like.
When did, or not when did, what's your favorite large DMD game?
21900? Oh, geez. My favorite large DMD game? This is it. It's either this or Frankenstein. I really like this and Frankenstein a lot. Baywatch is one of my favorites, though, so. I like this device, though. As soon as you hit this switch, it just opens up the trapdoor to take the ball to the subway. And we've got a bunch of jackpot shots. The color DMD in this game is fantastic. The high resolution dots are really fun. Some semblance of sense here. Wow, I need a lot of shots. Give me a ball back. What's going on? Oh, everyone out of the pool. Okay, well, that's Baywatch for you. That's pretty great. I can't think of anything that actually needs much more with this game. I mean, we need to play it more and see if anything fails, but otherwise, it's pretty dang good. Don't look. That's obscene. Jesus Christ. Awesome. I'm happy. This game will probably come to my house sometime. Maybe I'll see if I can get Steve to come over here and we can play pinball late at night one day. I don't know. Maverick is a good game too. I don't know, to be honest, like, I don't know what I would charge. I mean, when you're looking at it, right, like a new set of ramps for this game, it's like $300-something. The color DMD is set $500. So like, if this was like a one-to-one thing for a customer's game, not including the labor, you're almost looking at $1,000 right there, right? So including the labor, you know, if there was nothing really broken with this game, we really didn't have to do a lot of electronics work, right? The power supply got rebuilt. We maybe redid 1 or 2 connectors. Nothing else really needed work. So, I mean, a lot of the time to tear down a game, clean it up, and do all of that work, you're looking at anywhere between 4 to 8 hours, depending on how bad things are. So, you know, let's say that this one wasn't super bad, because it wasn't. This would probably be about 2 days worth of work in the shop between other projects. So including the parts, like, I mean, I don't know, that seems like a $1,500 job. $1,600 job. I charge by the hour because that's the most fair way to charge people. Not everything, flat rate is not good. You know, you're definitely ripping the customer off a lot of the time if you are not putting all that work into it, so the customer gets the fairest price. And not only that, like, you're also ripping yourself off if you end up needing more time. So, I don't know. I think that makes sense to me, if it makes sense to you guys. But yeah, Baywatch, pretty cool. We're finally done. So PinTech's over. We're never going to do this again because we finally did Baywatch.
What are we going to do next?
No, I'm just kidding. Next, we'll probably work on Elvira. You know, another game I really want to work on again is Vector. Vector needs the Mylar put down, but I need to do that on my own time.
Didn't we work on Vector already?
We tore it down and then got all the electronics working, and then Serene reproduced the Mylar from the original I had in the game.
Which Elvira? Party Monsters.
Party Monsters. So I would love to get Vector cleaned up and put back together at some point. Jungle Lord needs the same refinement. It needs a little bit of love given to it. Kings of Steel needs love, but we don't need to work on that now. I'd like to do Elvira. It's another older game. I like System 11 games. We've only really worked on 1 or 2 on this show.
What would we do on it? Got any thoughts?
Everything. It needs everything. I don't even know if it boots up.
Oh my gosh.
We need to do computer, power supply, see if it boots up. Then it needs everything else. The customer said go to town cosmetically, so new ramps and plastics are definitely in order. It's a nice game. It's actually in okay shape. It's just a little crusty. And I like crusty games that are in good shape because they always clean up nicely. This isn't alcohol, this is just beverage. Fix it so it doesn't middle drain you as often. On Elvira? I mean, that's just a jerk of a game. System 11s are great games. I love them. I own some. I don't even know. I think I own 1, Roller Games. I don't think I have any other System 11 games. This is a System 11 game, technically. The computers are basically the same.
Yay. The studio's finally getting built again post-show season 2022.
How much did you pay originally for Baywatch, and how much is it worth now? Just trying to figure out if you're ahead or not. I'm definitely ahead. I bought this game from Mark, the owner of Marco, who unfortunately passed away last year, but he sold it to me for $1,200, which is very, very, very below market rate. He just wanted me to
It's like a $4,000 game now.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how much pinball's worth anymore.
$4,500, everything.
But he sold it to me under the conditions that I got it working, and then if I sold it, I would pass along the good value. And of course I will, but I will never sell it because it's special. And I love this game, and it'll always remind me of Mark, you know? What are the key factors that make it a System 11 other than knowing which titles are System 11? Obviously, I know no tech. It's fine. System 11 was the name that Williams gave the board architecture for those games. So System 11 games ran basically, I think High Speed was the first System 11 game, and then one of the last ones would definitely be Elvira. but it's the board architecture. So they definitely have a feel to them. You know, like if you played Elvira or roller games, in the way that they sound and play versus like Funhouse or Gilligan's Island, which are some of the first WPC games, which use different soundboards, they just sound and feel a bit different. That being said, I mean, other than some of the other cosmetic things like the dot matrix displays and stuff like that, but you've got, Williams named their systems after numbers. So you had games that were, System 3 would be an early version of their computer used on games like, the first solid state games like Pokerino and Flash and Hot Tip and those sorts of games. And then technically there was a System 4, but then System 6 was the next big one with games like Blackout and Firepower. And then you go on to System 7, which would be games like Jungle Lord and Black Knight. And then you have System 9, which would be, I think there's only 3 games. So you have like Space Shuttle and Comet are System 9 games. And then System 10 was technically used, I think, for 1 or 2 pitch and bat games. System 9 and System 11 are very similar. But then System 11 was its own thing. Kind of interesting. Unlike Bally, which basically just used one computer forever, which is great because they're very simple to work on. Bally was a little more efficient with their architecture, I guess. I don't know. Grand Lizard, that's a great game. Yeah, Grand Lizard is System 11. Me too. Grand Lizard is System 11A. Great game. System 6 rocks. Yeah, definitely. Some great games on that platform for sure. The reason I say that this is essentially a System 11 game is Data East basically almost 100% copied the System 11 architecture to make their first computer. You can run Data East games on Williams System 11 computers. There's some modifications you need to do, but you can run them, which is interesting. Radical, Whirlwind, Bonsai Run, Earthshaker, Diner, Roller Games, Taxi, Swords of Fury, Grand Lizard, Transporter. So many great games were on that system, for sure. That's such a funny game. I love it.
Oh, Birdwiki, welcome.
Hello. I like, it is funny though how long Data East was able to get away with using 1985 computer architecture. As soon as Williams made a few games with the WPC system using alphanumeric displays, and then they went with the DMD with WPC. There's only like 2 or 3 with alphanumerics and then DMD, but like Data East did all the alphanumerics. They did a lot of their DMD games. This was one of the last games using this architecture. After this architecture, Stern went to a system called White Star, which was a lot more advanced. And it was good, but it aged very poorly. It's very, 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 very difficult to service those board sets when they have acid damage, which does happen a lot. Data East, or Sega, Stern, whatever back then, took the wonderful idea of putting the battery pack on those boards in the top right of the computer. So as soon as they started leaking acid, they leaked all over the entire board and destroyed it, which is annoying. But that board set lasted for a while, and then they switched over to the SAM system, which is also very complicated and difficult to repair because they kept modernizing. They started making more modern things using more modern chips. Hi, Moto. Oh, look at that. It looks way better.
Thank
Nice. And
it's driving me crazy that we had a white wall back there.
all of this old stuff is just using ancient, like 1970s components and stuff, right? Modernizing a little bit. And then they started getting more advanced and a little more difficult to repair. But the board sets were fantastic. What they could do was fantastic. They sounded wonderful. And Stern used the SAM system all the way until the late 2010s. And then we got the Stern Spike system, which is fantastic. It is a really, it seems complicated, but once you learn how it works, it's really elegant.
Thanks for joining us, Pin Guy.
Thank you, Pin Guy. Yeah, nice. We'll play this game sometime on stream and set the cameras up nice, and we can actually like play through some Baywatch, and I can try to remember how to play. Thanks for joining us. Actually, here's a fun fact. Does anyone in here know what SPIKE stands for? SPIKE is an acronym. If someone knows what this acronym is, I will clap.
Spike is an acronym?
Yep.
Dang.
If someone knows what it is, I'll let you guys ponder on. No Googling. Actually, the longer we wait, the more Googling is happening, so actually none of you guys get anything now. I don't know if it's
There's a
Googled or
lag
not.
on the stream.
Huh?
What's this for?
I don't know. Looks like a rivet. We should throw it away.
Oh, you don't want it?
No. No one answered, did they?
APB has it. Oh,
Who said it was-
Spike's dog. That's actually a really... Spike's the name of the dog in Junkyard that you throw toast at.
It is not any of those things. The SAM system was a tribute to Gary Stern's dad, Sam Stern, the president of Williams Pinball and Stern, when they made their own company. Stern Pinball is killer extreme. No, okay. Spike, Stern Pinball Incorporated killer engine.
Wow.
Spike. It's the killer engine. It's the best.
That's awesome, actually.
It's there's some things I'd like to do. Like I'd like to actually take one of the Spike games. Maybe I'll use Marco's Guardians of the Galaxy, and we will break things purposefully and I can show you. Maybe it'd be kind of nice to do it. Like I'd like to actually sit down with Guido and talk to him a little bit and get some instruction. But there's a lot of safe things we can do to the Spike system to essentially break it, and it will protect itself. The Spike system has a lot of built-in fault protections,
More weight.
which are fantastic. Overcurrent protections. If a coil melts without any other sort of, if we were to install a melted or a purely shorted coil into a Spike pinball machine, the game would not run it because it knows, right? If we had a game that had a shorted general illumination bulb and socket, the game knows and will shut down that circuit to avoid damage. It will even tell you exactly where to look to try to solve the problem. It's these really awesome things that they built in that not a lot of people get to experience when it comes to like pinball tech sides of work. I know that the big frustrating thing for a lot of people, the customers and you guys, is when, a lot of the time when things break, you just need to replace a board. And that, that is annoying to the end customer. But once they have their entire system set up, it will be good. Oh, hey, the camera's dead. Look, I'm frozen.
Oh, that's weird.
Hey, guys, I'm frozen. How's
It's
it going?
not dead. Whoa.
I think everyone can still hear me, though. Launch toast. Yeet the toast now. Yeet that toast.
Yeah?
Is the color DMD LED or LCD? It's LED. How is Spike 2 different from Spike 1? Spike 2 has a more powerful processor to be able to run the LCD monitors. So the Spike 1 games were only dot matrix, where the Spike 2 games are all LCD. And that's the biggest difference. Very little of the hardware is backwards compatible. The node boards definitely are not. The core nodes. The Spike system is set up in you've got node 0, which is your computer, and then you have node 1, which is your cabinet node board. And then generally the next two nodes would be node 8 and 9, which are your playfield driver boards. Those are referred to as core nodes, but and it's elegant. It really is elegant. Comments on the node board issues. I think the real issue is just customers not being able to get them in their hands, but trust me, Stern knows, and they are working very hard on trying to get that reverted. So they are working on trying to get node boards to the public, because the worst thing to them and to us is a broken pinball game. So they all know about it. They all read Pinside. They know. And it is definitely disheartening to everybody, but they're working towards that. So. It is a really fail-proof system, though. I've operated Spike 2 games for 6 years now, and they are very unproblematic. I mean, sometimes you might have a bad apple every once in a while, but electronics aren't always perfect. They are still all built by hand. They're really wonderful, but for the most part, they're fine. I haven't had a single issue with my Deadpool, other than the known things with Deadpool, right? Oh, we gotta go. My Deadpool, the biggest problems with Deadpool are the Hell House scoop. The switches always break. Every Deadpool does that, so mine's done that a bazillion times. I've had to rebuild the flippers, and that's it. No electronics failures or anything, which is great. It's a good game. But yeah, that's all I know the difference between Spike 1 and 2. Anyways, we're going to go. Emoto and I are going to order a bunch of Indian food. What are we going to eat? What do you want? I might want to get a biryani, or maybe like the butter paneer.
I just really want some garlic naan and a mango lassi.
Mango lassi sounds great. What switch breaks on Deadpool? The Hell House scoop. So the scoop on the left side of the game that starts a mode, it's a Y-shaped micro switch, and it's just the ball blamming in and slamming against that switch many times a game that seems to make them fail. Now, I don't think that's necessarily inherent on the design. Maybe it is the supply of switches that we have here at Marco that are not great and they fail prematurely. But I think it is a combination of the way that the scoop is laid out, plus the switches, that it's just a little hard on them. Again, it's not a problem. As an operator, it's a very easy fix. It is 2 screws and a little bit of solder, and you're good to go. It could be a little more annoying as a home user if that finally does happen on your beloved game and you don't know how to solder, but it's pinball, right? Everything is physical. It will break eventually. You always have to touch it. Do you recommend getting fans for flipper coils? That's not something I'd ever do, but I have seen a lot of people on the internet that say it really makes a difference and they like it, and that's cool. That's a neat addition. I am not good enough at pinball, nor does it, I don't know, it's just not one of my things. If I was good enough at pinball where I was playing like 3-hour games like my main man Dalton, that might make a difference, but for me, it's not my thing. Daniel, thank you for joining us. I appreciate your kind words, and you always joining us. Isn't it late? You should go to bed. Andrew, you can eat better than Pringles. You should go get some good food. I mean, you live in Chicago. You should go get good food. You're surrounded by it. The fanciest food we can get in Columbia, South Carolina might be Indian food. I actually did find a pho place I really want to go to. I love pho. When I come to Chicago in February,
Pringles.
I plan on eating pho. You should go get some pierogies for me. I'm sure there's Polish people near you.
Pierogies.
I love pierogi. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
We're going to look for someone to raid,
Yeah.
so I'm on
We'll find
looking
someone
right
to
now.
raid. I don't know if you can hear Emoto.
I have my mic on.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. I'm just repeating just in case. Super stoked Baywatch is working, so keep ragging on me, and maybe we'll do a live stream.
Ooh, time to go to bed, Daniel.
We'll do a after hours thing, or maybe if I bring the game to my house, we'll do a stream from my living room. My wife probably won't be too happy about bringing more pinball home, but it's Baywatch. It rules.
Ooh, you want to see Rudy's Nightmare?
That's a weird game.
Let's
Who else
go.
is streaming? Let's get a list.
It's Mystery Pinball Theater 3000 doing Rudy's Nightmare. I
I think we're gonna go watch Mystery Pinball Theater 3000 playing Rudy's Nightmare.
Otherwise, we're gonna watch some VPX.
I'm not
Let's
as
go to
into-
Free Gold Watch, shall
Let's go
we?
to Free Gold Watch. It's my favorite, one of my favorite home arcades.
Me too.
Hanging out with super cool Manu.
Bye, everybody.
Bye everyone. Thanks for joining. We love you and miss you. So everyone on
Yes.
Twitch is now gonna go see Manu. Everyone on Facebook, you're just going
Get a
away.
Twitch.
You're going away. And YouTube, y'all on YouTube are just going away.
Just going away.
All right,
Dang.
now everyone on Facebook and YouTube, you guys rule, and we're gonna end the stream. Actually, I have to go do that. Bye everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us.